So it does end every hour.
Recording is on.
It is every hour. Every hour
Uh-huh.
ends. So go ahead.
Because I just noticed the time. But yeah, like until you're in those predicaments, like you just won't do it because that's the reason why a lot of cops don't do it because they know the grimy, sneaky stuff that can happen.
It's like college.
So
Worse.
you don't want to put your family through that. You don't want to be all of a sudden your child is being framed for something and somebody put the weapon in their car or some stupidness. You just don't know. So a lot of times you keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
Because you know in that department, and especially because the guy who did it is the nephew of the commander in chief, or the hell the higher one is. Oh, you gonna close your motherfucking mouth because you already know, especially if you're a person of color.
I'll be
if
slick
you are
with that,
Hispanic,
yo.
You got this.
For me,
Nepotism is a
that's
motherfucker.
predicament, yo. I'll be slick with that shit.
You got to be Batman. You basically got to be Batman.
You getting caught, yo. I'm not letting this shit slide, yo. I'm not that guy.
That's why they at D Wolf. That's why they outlaw vigilantism.
That's why I'm like, yo, fuck. That's why I'm like, this is why I don't like bringing the police and shit. I want to handle it myself, and I encourage black people to do this, especially in their own neighborhoods, especially when it comes to family. That's the worst thing when they call cops on family, son, and on the neighborhood. Yo, don't do that. Now in the community, yo, you keep that shit in house. Don't call these people, yo. Don't call them. Because this is the shit that goes down, yo. Keep the shit in house. Because yo, you need a close knit community. So if there's a bad apple in there, you can handle it. Everybody's got their eye open, yo. Because that way you don't have no fucking reason to call the cop until the deed is done, until somebody needs to be arrested, or until somebody's body needs to be picked up for fucking with somebody. Straight up. Because this whole calling the cop shit bothers me already. It bothers me already, especially when black people do it. We already know what goes down, but yet we still want to call. I am not calling them, son. If
Wait,
I
you're not calling
if
the
I run out of my
what?
resources, yo, I am not. Unless I run out, then I'll call them. Otherwise,
wait, what's your reason for not calling the cops? Because I was reading something.
Oh, because of the element that we're talking about right now, the racist element, the bullshit that they do. Oh, we're just doing our job. This is the procedure. No, I'll handle this. Me and my family got this, yo. Because there's so many communities that already do this already. They don't even fucking call the cops. They handle this on their own.
Yeah, and
we need to start doing that.
And that's why in the community should be going the way it goes.
And because we have a certain way of thinking, thanks to media and shit like that. But yo,
no,
straight up and down, yo, if we start,
I can't.
I'm not. I'm calling
thinking a certain
your
way.
ass is getting arrested and getting the fuck up out of here.
Who calling them, son? Who calling them?
Me.
After I'm done,
me.
After I'm done, I got witnesses say, yeah, he saved us from this and the other. Oh yeah, that person was doing that when the deed is done. When the deed is fucking done.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up, and I'm still calling the cops.
Say again.
I said I'm gonna fuck you up and call the cops at the same time.
Yo,
okay, you busting my house.
I'm done with you. That's
that's the baby right
there. Bust this glass up in your head
after I'm done with you. Not same time because there's nobody holding me back, yo. Let me find out you diddling somebody, some kid, or my neighbor's kid, or my wife, or a child, or shit like that. What I'm calling them for?
Yeah, you beat their ass and you call the cops.
Fuck yes. Then I'll call you. You better hope I don't kill you first.
Okay, now your ass is going to jail, and now your fucking molested child.
No, I'm sure.
Now your molested child
this is where fatherless. This is where I go. We
Does that make sense?
Know how. How do you think? When we see vigilante justice against pedophilia and shit like that, where does your mind go? You say, "Good for you, pops." Good for you, big brother.
I'm just saying, you know what kind of
You're
world
in the jury.
We live in.
I'm safe.
You cannot
son.
kill people just because.
No. These
yeah,
yo,
well, you saying that?
Say that, yo.
I'm
straight up,
saying.
I am willing. I'll tell you right now. I am willing to pay for that time, but I am not letting.
But it doesn't make sense in the long end because now you're molested child who is.
I ain't getting that much years. I'm gonna get parole. I'm getting parole. Yo, the community is gonna talk. Yo, if you have a community,
you don't know what kind of judge you're gonna have.
Yo,
we gotta look
the judge. I ain't worried about the judge. I ain't worried about
hold on. Because we gotta look up the statistics of the fathers that actually killed the person that molested their child and went to jail. we got to see how many people either got off or if they did do jail time. How many
Sure
times
they did
we
jail.
gotta
I'm
you
sure
gotta
they did
literally
jail
look
time.
that up because
I'm
there
sure
are
they did
people
jail time, but not as long as you would
because
think.
I've seen it both. I've seen it both where the father killed the guy that molested the father's child and he got off. And there's another one where he did go to jail, but not for that time, or they didn't give him like
Yo,
a
when the
big
people,
old like a misdemeanor. And
when,
even in jail, they be like, the guys in jail be like, I would have done the same thing
yeah,
if they was.
you
So we
safe
gotta.
in fucking jail. What you mean, son? And
First
when
of
the
all, there's no
community
point in
speaks,
comparing
when
nobody
the
in jail.
community speaks, yo, it matters, yo. Your time's to do
Of
so.
course,
You
they
don't
said
show
that.
no time at all.
I mean, but think about that though. You going to jail because you killed someone that touched your child. Like that's not really
That shouldn't
anything to be
even be.
mad at.
That
You know what
shouldn't
I'm saying?
even
That
be.
shouldn't even be a thing. But at the same
Yeah.
time, if that's the reality,
In the
then
eyes of the
nobody should be
law of
fucking
the
with you. You
land,
know what
we
I
gotta
mean?
follow it, right? But at the same time, when the community speaks, you're not gonna get that much punishment, son.
And
I
that's
would
why I
rather risk
always
that
say
than
in
have
the
a cop
black
show up and
community,
shoot me instead.
we need to be having these kind of conversations because I keep saying you keep thinking with your fucking with your fist and with your mouth, and don't be thinking with your fucking brain, because people are always so quick to be in our black community. Because I'm telling you right now, because of the people that was on the block in Brooklyn, I would have done this, I would have done that. Fuck that. I'll fucking go to jail. Da da da. I said, okay, but in the long run, what's the benefit of doing that and then going to jail?
Yo,
You gotta think about
I'm not
shit.
telling people to be me.
Leaving your
I'm not telling people to
6-year-old
be
child.
me, yo.
You're leaving your 6-year-old child because the person slapped your child, so now you want to go and stab the bitch.
Oh no.
Now your
That's not what I'm
ass.
talking
I ain't
about.
talking about you. I'm not talking about you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking about there are people who do that.
Yeah.
And you stab the fucking person. Now your ass is going to jail because the person did not touch you. The person molested your child, but yes, the person did not touch you. You gotta think about a lot of stuff. Trust me, because my mother and I talk about that stuff too. We say, boy, sometimes people better be lucky about this jail shit. So the stuff that we would do, but I'm not going to jail for what? Because you touched my child. My child is okay and is alive. You're going to be going to jail. I'm going to contact some people, and you're going to be on that fucking registry, and I'm gonna blast your ass.
Yeah, you don't have to go my route, son. You could just as long as you do it
because I
in-house, you don't
my
have
life.
to do it.
Ain't
I'm
nobody
full
going to no
vigilante.
motherfucking jail.
Yo, straight up and down, I'm full vigilante. I don't expect everyone else to be, but I do encourage your community. I do encourage people speaking up and doing what they got to do. Stop this bullshit. If you have better avenues than violence, son, go for it. But I will say the last resort is the cop unless you have no other choice.
No, I'm calling that motherfucking cop.
I want
get that nigga out the street.
I want to say
the
this.
Cop better be from that community. I'll tell you that.
I want to say this in hindsight.
Him directly, him or her directly.
I want to say this in hindsight because both of y'all are not wrong. But the only thing, D Wolf, is I feel like, let's say if that happened in the Jewish community, I feel like they would have, because the community is so tight. Like, even if he did jail and come out, they will have something for him so he could at least get back on his feet. Like, I think what you would, if you'd have done that, it'd have been honorable. But who is going to like have your back, or look at you like, you know what, I'd have done the same thing. When you come back, you have a job in our business. That way, you don't have to worry about struggling.
Right.
That's where we need to be.
There's
9
times out of 10 that is not how it is.
We're still struggling after we get out.
That's the thing. It's just like, for your vigilantism and something that is righteous, you shouldn't have to, come out as a felon or none of that. But since we're not that tight knit of a community, or we don't have businesses of our own that we could look out for somebody like that, it's kind of hard to do that. So you do have to like go to the cops, which is why I said Xavier's not wrong either. Let the law do what the law's supposed to do, even though I don't trust the cops either. But it's just, what
y'all keep
are
talking
you
about
going to
something
do?
y'all don't trust the cops. I better not hear y'all call the police for nothing.
Son.
Because
and there's a thing, I've met so many cops. I would be like,
I don't trust the cops. Okay, when your ass get robbed and your house is broken into, you better not call. Let me just say that right now.
Yeah, because more times than
y'all
not,
love saying that, and then all of a sudden y'all gotta call the cops for something.
more times than not, I've had great encounters with cops, straight up and down. But I know personally, I will not call you.
We already know that all cops are not bad cops, and I ain't
that's
going on no
true.
Candace Owens.
I'm never
It's
gonna
not
deny
that
that.
it's not that all cops
Listen,
are not bad cops, but it's just that sometimes,
the
depending on who do you
institution.
get, do they
Mhm,
care? And
mhm.
sometimes we do get cops that don't care, and that's really the problem. And
But
I
my thing is,
understand the
though,
job is.
what cops have y'all encountered like in y'all personal life that y'all called and they just do not give a flying rat's ass?
Oh, that's never
That's
happened to
not
me.
the no.
That's
That's
never
not the
No,
happened to
I'm
me.
going to
point.
make
I'll
that
admit
point
that. That's
because
never
I
happened.
find that a lot of black people in our community be making statements and never went through that shit. They go off of what they've been reading and what other people have gone through, and then they be putting themselves in them shoes. Because there are so many black people that I know have never had an encounter with a police officer, never. And now all of a sudden they talking about I will never do this and that. I'm like,
I've had
why?
plenty.
I've had plenty.
Both sides of the spectrum.
I've had plenty.
But
Okay.
at the same time, all of that is true. But at the same time, the fact that there is a compromise in the institution of policehood and of cops is exactly what they're talking about. So yeah, both things can be true at once. But I just think that whenever there are instances of cops fucking reaching and overusing their power or abusing their power, it should be brought to attention. And I think that we get caught up in these narratives so deeply that we don't take the time to consider that at the very end of the day, these institutions sometimes mess it up. I don't think it's just, people are just having this, all cops are bad mentality, but I understand why that
Are they
mentality
not?
is because there are, but listen, because there are instances where there are so many instances where you can see that these cops are abusing people.
Cops have always been like that, though.
That's
People,
so they're bringing. Yeah,
we
that's what I'm
always
saying.
been
They're
like that,
bringing that
but
to
it's
attention.
getting,
They
but
are
it's
bringing
always
that
been
to
like that. But
attention.
black people still be calling cops for shit.
Yes, because
But
the
now all
cops
of a
are
sudden it
there.
seems like
That's
our
the job,
generation
right?
who don't be going through stuff, like
Yeah,
it
but
be
that's
so
the
many of these
job.
kids that don't go through stuff that all of a sudden now they like, oh, fuck the cops. I don't trust them niggas. Da, da, da.
But
Bitch,
that
you grew up in the suburbs. What do you've never experienced nothing
But
with no
that's
fucking cop.
but this is what I'm saying about vigilante being outlawed. I feel like if vigilanteism is an outlaw, or I'm sorry, if vigilante was a thing, like a lot of things we wouldn't even go to the cops for. A lot of things would just be solved on the street level, and that is the fact that vigilante is against the law, and some people, even though they want to do the vigilante thing, you do have to follow procedures. They have to go to the procedures whether they want to or not. There's a couple times where dudes, you like something happened to their kids, and I know a couple times where they want to do it themselves, or a significant other, or someone tell them don't do that, just go to cops, just go with the procedure, because like you said, I don't want you to end up in jail, because what you're going to do in jail, and the child is going to be without a father and stuff. There's, like, trust me, more times, 9 times out of 10, especially in black homes, they want to do the vigilante way. They want to handle it
Everybody knows
themselves
that.
because
Everybody does that. Every race would rather do that. But and y'all can moan and groan all damn day if y'all want to, but because black people are not the only ones that be going through shit and be wanting to fuck up other people. Because y'all must forget about them rough ass whites up in the South, okay? Italians, all that. You don't think they be wanting to do their own shit, and they do be doing their own shit, and then they suffer the consequences. But I'm saying is, everybody of course wants to fuck up somebody. But that's the point is there is laws and there are fucking rules, and you need to call the fucking police and get it fucking done.
that's
Point
what I'm
blank, period. I know
that's
what
what
you're
I'm
saying,
not the
but
issue.
y'all was also acting like what I'm saying is fucking crazy about these fucking blacks who grew up with no fucking cops ever fucking with them. And now all of a sudden they running around here telling some fuck the cops. That doesn't even make sense to me. That doesn't make sense.
Because the music is like, they just mimiking the music.
It makes
like,
no
they have
sense.
No experience.
And y'all know it doesn't make
no,
sense. And y'all be
you have
trying
a
to
you have a point there.
sit here and act all like what I'm saying is crazy. But y'all know that makes sense. It's just like you going to school with white people all your life and you have fucking friends that's white, and now all of a sudden you talking about something, yeah, white people are so fucking racist. Fuck all white people. White people are horrible. They don't ever do nothing. But yet your white friend is the one who got you tickets to the fucking concert for your birthday.
Yo,
and
word.
y'all go hang out and y'all do all kind of shit and y'all be hanging out
Word.
and their parents love you to death. And if something was to happen, they'll take you in. Like, which one do you want to do? Choose one.
Yo, straight up and down, it was a white guy that gave me one of my best birthday gifts. So I ain't gonna
choose one. Because also in the black community, your own black people would be the quickest ones to fucking put you underneath the fucking bus. But y'all don't want to have that motherfucking conversation. I ain't that black. I ain't that black and proud because I know what the fuck people be doing. We seen that at AI.
Buddy,
fake ass motherfuckers.
Buddy, you
not talking about
that.
y'all fake, but people who be doing the fake
that,
shit.
Xavier, because that's bro. Funny you mentioned that, Xavier. First off, I'm gonna let Crystal have the last word because we done cut Crystal off like 5 times.
Okay, Crystal been trying to say shit and people keep cutting her off.
But funny you did mention that because that is the topic of our next. That is the thing about the next copy about having these conversations. But Crystal, go ahead.
All right, so I'm speaking from a Gothic girl high school standpoint type of view. I used to have to fight just to wear my fucking Gothic clothes in the village and shit like that. So I'm speaking from a point that I've given up on thinking that majority of Black people that I've in my environment in Brooklyn at the time, Flatbush, that they are sane. They are actually insane. And it's insane for me to ever think that they will be sane enough to trust anyone that is not of their complexion or color. So when you come to that conclusion, you can understand that they are going to utilize the fact that you have Black women, children, and men disappearing at an extreme, at a large rate for their organs. And being in the medical field, I've seen it with my own fucking eyes. And it was a couple of doctors I had to blow the fucking whistle on, but we're not going to talk about that on the podcast. But yeah, those motherfuckers was part of it. You got to look at the fact that when a Black child goes missing, it takes forever to find them. But on the TV, somehow they found, other races really quickly.
They found Amber, yo. They found Amber.
And I said, you know what? It's not even about the race. It's about the fucking money. The reason I say this is because in the Jewish community, in the white community, guess what they're fucking doing? They are paying their money and I call it tithes, but they're donating to the cops in their community. They're wearing the little sticker that says I support cops on their nice cars. Okay, they are supporting them. So when they come to the community, they are not oblivious to knowing that this community protects them. This community buys pizza for them. This community sends a large amount of donations to their facility. So, we have to wise up on what other cultures are doing in their community to be so, shall we say, close-knit. It's not about close-knit. It's about the fucking money and about the community at the end of the day.
Rub my back, I rub yours, sweetie.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, also it's fear mongering that we have, especially around Black people who can't even pick up a book and read. They are fear mongering others not going through the experience even I had. And I don't talk about it every fucking 5 minutes, but it's an experience I wish that I didn't fucking have. But guess what? I took it. I learned from it. Every man is our teacher. We're, at the end of the day, but having a white guy go in Buffalo and shoot up people, we have a lot of copycats. Now, the reason why I think Black people will turn a side eye to the Crips and the Bloods versus a white man is because they're more organized. The white man is more organized to some or most Black people. Okay, so when we have a copycat, it's not just he's going to shoot up the same place. He's going to get his brothers that's in a KKK community or some kind of stupid ass organization that's well more organized than a BLM community and fuck up some shit. They really can fuck it up because guess what? They're running the systems. So if they don't get you in the street, they're going to get you in jail. If they don't get you in jail, they're going to get you at work. If they don't get you at work, they're going to definitely get you somehow, some way. So that's the scary part that I think a lot of Black people have, but they're not using the tools right. They're using it to fuck up our community even more, which makes no fucking sense, in my opinion. So, I'm just, I stay back and I watch and I observe, but I know what I have to do because you can't save everybody. You can't talk this and not have people's emotions, because it's an emotional shit to have to look on the fucking TV and see 10 people being gunned down for the color of their skin. This is nothing to not be emotional with, but when are we going to use our emotions as tools and strategize just like the KKK? Now, I'm not saying we are supposed to be Panthers and shoot up this. No, I'm saying use your money in a way that says, I'm fucking here. Donate to the cop communities. Okay? Donate to their facilities. Get to know each and every cop. So when the good cop says something, we can back them up. It was a cop that I seen on video, and everybody's like, yeah, because she was doing the right thing. Okay, she had a white cop, and it really doesn't matter what color, to be honest, in this particular situation, but it was around the time of the George Floyd situation. She stopped a white cop from roughing up a black boy, and she got fired. Where's her fucking BLM donations?
Right.
Should have been living in a fucking mansion.
Right.
So instead of going on social media and saying, yeah, she did the right thing, where is her support?
Right.
You think she's going to do that again when her ass can't pay rent and she got some black boy talking about how he hates black women and shit like that? Do you know what we could have done for her? I tried to even look her up and see what was going on with her. Yes, she's had support, but she lost her fucking job. Do you know what you have to even be a fucking cop? All right. So we need to really pull together and stop this bullshit. It's really annoying. And like I said, I couldn't even be myself in my own fucking community.
Right.
Where am I gothic clothes? Where am I red hair? I got beat up until I got my sister's people, and that's a whole different story. But why do I have to do that?
Exactly. Right. Because as you know, I'm
up.
from East Flatbush, 52nd and Lenox, and I used to also be on Kings Highway Avenue D. And then I used to hang out over at my cousin's on St. Mark's and Nostrand. I've always been with the fashion, always been with the new style. This is back when retro shit used to be out. When the retro kids, because you from Brooklyn, you remember retro kids and getting light and everything.
Yeah,
I used to have
on 51st and Linden,
I used to always have the flyest shit on. Them niggas used to hate on me and be trying to fucking fight me. And beat me up because of what I'm wearing, but I'm wearing the same shit that the boys are wearing on TV.
I know those 51st. I know those 52nd kids.
I was wearing the same stuff they were wearing on TV. You're just mad because I got it and I look good. So now I'm a faggot ass nigga. I'm Kingfish. I'm this. I'm that.
I remember the kids on 52nd
I look good.
Street.
You call me a faggot because I was the first nigga on the block rocking the fucking red and blue pant and purple pant from Levi's. But now, a year later, after you saw celebrities wearing it, now you faggy ass niggas want to fucking start wearing it. How is it okay now?
Lie, the purple pants was fire though. The purple Levi's was fire. But go ahead.
I used to get so mad.
52nd and Lenox though.
52nd and Lenox.
Word. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Jamaican parents. I mean, Jamaican grandparents. That was their house.
I remember those kids.
Just to keep those bitches off me.
I understand because
I couldn't even play the music I wanted to, without.
I'm in the rave life, so I had to when I wanted to go to a rave in Jersey or some girl in the summertime because I live down here. What? I had to change my clothes.
You see, that's bullshit. And off topic, did you go to Ultrafest yet?
No.
All right, I'm done.
Any last words before we move on to our next final topic?
Let's move on. I think we've been on this too long.
It was funny because
I didn't even notice that I fucking got kicked out.
You got kicked out?
Well, I kicked myself out, but I know this type of stuff also happens in the white community. Like we can't act like our people be doing that, But at least in the white community, like they just say something. Sometimes they might come up to you, but they just say something and then leave you alone. But in the black community, especially if you're gay, I mean, why you gotta come up to me and stab me?
I'm laughing, but it ain't funny. It's true.
Yeah, like why I gotta be stabbed and jumped? Why can't you just call me a name and let me keep walking? Like I don't understand that.
And they're fucking punks because I had some dumbass bitch. Excuse me. I just remembered me getting off from Caton Avenue and I wanted a fucking pizza, right? So this bitch, she's at the Church Avenue way station, and where I wanted to go was the church area. So she's, my friends is like, yo, she's waiting at you at church. I said, and I'm hungry. I don't care.
Okay.
I was on 51st. And we had to stay away from the 52nd Street kids,
No,
because they were a fucking problem.
This bitch,
they caused all the fuckery, yo. I remember my pops always, oh my god. So when he said that, and he said that's what he went through, I was like, yep. I ain't disagree at all. I know those 52nd Street kids. I already know.
And first of all, girl, I hate being over there on Church and on Utica and shit.
No.
All them fucking Jamaicans and Trinidadians and Bajans and Guyanese and all of that. Get the fuck away from here. Let me go to fucking Manhattan where I can blend in.
Yo, you had to be on 51st. You'd be all right. Yeah, if you went on 50 from one block away, you would have been all right. Trust me.
Anyway, this girl put a gun in my face. And I was just, when a bitch tries to bully you, but you got mouth, so they're just trying to find a way to shut you up. So I just got so tired of her. I was like, just pull the fucking trigger already. You all talk. Just pull it here.
All right, gangster.
And then she was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, just fucking do it.
Bitch, see, you playing now.
Just for y'all here, right?
I know what you mean. I gave somebody $150 on
Oh shit.
What fucking sheet was I on? I forgot this damn shit right now. But yeah, I gave somebody $150. That was my first $150 and last $150. I was scared as hell.
Yo.
Shit.
Damn.
Scared. Cause I knew they were gonna fuck me up.
In the words of ASAP Rocky, want that pretty Flocko ratchets to sign the jackets. The same niggas who jacket be the first to claim we faggots.
Because I used to wear those the Adidas, oh my god, what the fuck is his name? Jeremy Scott.
Yeah.
What them boys used to try to clown me for that. Talking about them gay ass shoes. My mouth, Ray. So I used to give it to them good. All of a sudden, Lil Wayne at the BET Awards wears the teddy bear ones. Now the boys want to buy them up. I said, are y'all fucking serious? So my pandas is so fagulicious, but you can go and wear the damn teddy bears. And then the dudes in DC and Southeast wearing the fucking, oh my god, like what was it? The Paisley poodle ones.
Oh my god.
Wore them to death. I
think it's because they see Wale with him, because I know Wale used to shout out Jeremy Scott in his fucking rhymes too. And it's like niggas was wearing them.
But see, what it really is that a lot of dudes wish they can be as free, and they can't. Because I used to have a lot of boys used to come up to me and ask me how to wear Doc Martens and not look so gay. I am so serious. So I forgot the name of the group in the 90s. It was like some females and men. And like one dude, I think, and he used to wear Doc Martens, and he looked good. I showed him I showed him Jodeci, I showed them Will Smith, all of them. I said, just rock it like that. I said, you don't gotta wear tight ass pants. That's me. You don't gotta wear tight pants.
Not that many hood, especially hood niggas. They not that really delved into fashion, so they not gonna really know. But you are right, because even I, and I have to admit, when I saw, I think one of Rihanna's shoes, and I thought they looked nice, and I was like, I said, "You think a nigga would look?" And I said, and Xavier was there. He was like, "Do you think a nigga would look gay if a nigga would rock them Rihanna shoes?" Because I thought they were fire, and you said, "You do whatever the fuck you want to do."
Yes, because it's a time. What was that? 2013, 14. It's come to a time where, like, bitch, if you are so on me about my shoes, you must fucking like it. Why are you on it so bad? And you must think he looked good in it. Because what's with all of this? Mind your fucking business with your busted ass fucking Nike boots. Fuck out of here. But we off topic, so let's get back on the topic because we ranting now.
Depending on how you look at it, because the next topic is like, are we ready to have some of these conversations that I feel like a lot of people dance around? And the reason I came up with this topic because of Kendrick Lamar just dropped his album, and
Ugh.
yeah, right. I can already see where it goes. And he had a song called RT Diaries where it was a mix. It was a lot of mixed reviews on it. There was some people, applauding him. There was some people was calling him an ally. There was people that was calling him transphobic, and because the way he told the story. And my thought was, I know a lot of people say y'all not ready for this conversation, but I'm thinking, does either side want to have a conversation? I
Right.
wanted to get everybody's opinion on that because I do feel like, especially with the straight black man and the gay black man, they talk. We both sides talk around, but it seems like there's not much talking to each other. So it's only time I ever seen it was on the grapevine, and I don't even think that went that well. But I wanted your opinions on that.
Can you give me an example about why they thought it was like what happened? 'Cause I never listened to anything. I was just reading stuff off Twitter about what he said about trans that he thought that it was transphobic.
Okay, because have you heard the song Auntie Diaries?
No, I haven't listened to anything.
Okay, all right. The song Auntie Diaries, he's basically giving the story of his aunt that is trans. He's like his first words was, "My auntie is a man now," and he gives this story. It's a really good song because he really gives this story about how he chose religion over freedom, and like he also had a cousin that was transitioning from male to female, and to cut it short, the pastor at their church was, was saying some religious things about, I guess the whole thing, homosexuality is a sin,
Uh,
and he pointed out Kendrick Lamar's trans cousin, and Kendrick said, "Hey, aren't we supposed to love all people?" And he was like, "That was the day he chose freedom over religion," and then like he got the same lessons from when that white girl was reciting one of his words, and she was saying nigga, and his aunt or trans uncle or something, and she was like, "Well, if you have a problem with her saying nigga, how do you think when like y'all be saying the f word to anybody? It's that's basically it." So
okay.
there, so there was people who was like, "I applaud Kendrick Lamar. If you don't say anything, listen to the song." But there was people that's like, "I applaud Kendrick Lamar because he did tell that story." Now there was people that was against him that was calling him transphobe because he was using dead names and he was saying the f word like a couple times, and then there was people who was just like he was basically telling his side of the story, and yes, he even talking about where he was wrong in there. So he, you know, that's basically
How was he
the whole
using
gist.
the F word?
Uh,
Like, is he saying that this is what somebody said?
yeah, basically, he was like, cause even when he was talking about his cousin that was trans, like people was calling him, they was throwing the words, and he said even he used the word, but he didn't know any better when he was using that word. He's just growing, he probably growing up hearing his uncle say it all the time when they was talking about like homosexuality, people, homosexuals, and all that. So he was basically talking about how he used to use it, and but he didn't know any better, so now he doesn't use it no more.
Mm. A lot of people are dizzy and they're dense and they don't have comprehension skills, it sounds, because if you're telling a story, if that's what you're saying, he's telling his story from when he was younger and the thoughts he had and the stuff that people have said, how does that make him the homophobic and transphobic if he's saying this is what people said? Like, I've never understood that.
So, in my opinion, I don't. I think the people that are saying that probably never listened to the song.
Right, and that's where I think so too, because like it reminds me of on the real world reunion with Tammy when the white guy was saying he was with his black friend and the person said, he said the word nigga and she just made this whole scene about you don't get to use that motherfucking word, you white da da da, and I'm sitting here like, but he's just telling a story and just saying what the person said. I said because y'all do that with every other word. I said he's just explaining the story. So people need to really look at stuff differently because they get upset before they even understand what is really going on. And then they jump the gun, and then I feel like they just go back and secretly listen. They're like, oh, that's how it was used. Yikes. It's silly. Because I definitely jumped on it. Because I was like, he used what?
I try not to be the type of person to be reactionary when I hear the word. Or like, I feel like a lot of black people is like that initially. Like they'll hear the word. Like if someone, says it, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like be offended because that takes energy. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it's like the people that do get upset and the people that do get offended about it and the people that like really go hard to check people to make sure that they're not using the word, I can't get mad at them. I just won't do it myself. I'm kind of like that. It's like you can do that if you want to, but me personally, I just rather not.
I kind of find that people who do all of that, they tend to also use slander words to people.
They do.
Yeah.
I find that a lot because Tammy would be the first one to be disrespectful and call you out your fucking name very quick, and she'll
Which
say
real
some
world was
very
that one again?
nasty stuff. That was the first Real World in New York.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and like she's the first one. I find a lot of people who like will actually use the slanders too. They're the main ones that be like, don't fucking use that word, bitch. Da, da, da. But I think I think people are ready for the conversation. It's just that is there needs to be a mediator,
That's
a,
Yeah.
a good mediator, not one who secretly looks, to one side but just wants to be in the mix. Like, no, we need to have like a mediator who's really like, I see both sides. Cause that's how I always tell people. I said, I'm a good mediator. Cause I can understand why the man called you out your motherfucking name. It ain't right, but I can understand. And I don't think he'll do it again. Like sometimes, some people are like, hell no, that's just disrespectful. I'm like, no, you gotta look at both sides. You gotta understand. Because you're not saying it's acceptable, but you need to try to comprehend what's going on. And we need more people like that because sometimes people can be very biased secretly. And you don't really get a good conversation because it starts to lean on one side.
It's so sad that being neutral is such a dangerous thing to be.
Right? It really
Being neutral
is.
is so dangerous.
It really is.
People really be in their feelings. Like, even if I disagree with you, because like sometimes there'll be some things that you disagree with, there'll be some things I disagree with, but I'm not gonna like cancel you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna like, oh, you a terrible person. Like,
Right.
bro, you got your life, I got my life. We
Right.
just talking. It's different perspectives. So
Exactly.
like when people be so fucking emotional, I'm like, what are you really emotional for? Like, who hurt you? Get over it. Put a band-aid on it. Come on, we're talking.
Right.
Shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For me,
and
intent
also,
matters.
yeah, I mean, I understand that like it's about the intent and it's about what you're trying to do with the conversation. I do think people are ready to talk about it, but it has to be the right people. There
Mm-hmm.
can be mediators too, but like just don't pick people off that you know is gonna be emotional and shit. Like, bro, pick people that know how to articulate themselves. Pick people that know how to fucking listen and not talk over each other when they hear something they don't like. Get people that are willing to actually fucking have a conversation instead of it being another fucking reality show reunion type shit where somebody get mad and now there's a big little scene going on because somebody can't conduct themselves like they're an adult. Like,
But you
get
also
people.
do need that kind of that ignorant person because you need that perspective there. You know what I mean? like everybody can't be like kind of neutral and understanding, because they at the same time already know that it's acceptable to be this, or like they kind of already know, like, you know what, people should just live their life. You kind of need that one person who's just like, I don't think people are born gay, and I don't think they should be married, and I just think boom, 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 boom. And you need them there to say, like, okay, why do you think like that? What makes you think like that? How can I make you, and I hate using this word because this guy said the same thing, but how can you be more tolerable around them? And I hate that. I hate that word.
Tolerable.
Right. I hate using that, but it's like, it's almost no other term that can really be used. It's like, you know, accepting. If you're accepting, that means that you accept me and you support me. But to tolerate me is to be in the same area without getting disrespectful, and without being disrespectful to me and what I am, and doing weird stuff, acting like you don't want me to touch you and shit like that. You just come to work, you do your work, you say good morning, and you go. I'm not saying you got to be at my wedding, and I ain't saying you got to hold my hand, and we got to do this and that, but you know.
Nah, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. If you get married, I'm coming. The fuck.
Everything you and Father said is exactly what goes through my mind, because it's like, who do you want to be there? Does he need a moderator or not? What type of people do you want there? Do you want people that's just going to agree, or do you want people that's just from two different sides? Do you want them like
Right.
really extreme, or just extreme enough to where, okay, I could disagree with you, but not get into a whole full blown fight with you? Because at the end of the day, and I say this, gay or straight, we're still men. There's still lines you can't cross. And you know, like I said, we from DC, gay niggas know how to throw hands around here.
I mean, I don't know if y'all been watching Bad Boys Club. The clips, people are showing clips on TikTok, and that dude Jonathan is throwing them hammers, honey. Throwing them hammers, and I know niggas are looking like, yo, this gay nigga can fight, bro. Like, I know they're saying that.
Bro, that shouldn't even be surprising though. As a gay person, I feel like you're supposed to have hands.
Like, hey, don't say that, because some of us relate. some of us was scared to fight.
But me and Father always said 90s gays will fuck you up. And
fuck you up.
Oh, and yeah. You said it, and you said it yourself. You had to buck 50 a couple people. It's just like
no. That was after, but in elementary school and halfway through middle school, I used to be afraid to fight, and my father taught me how to fight from day one. I used to be very afraid to fight. I used to get so nervous to throw a punch, because I'm just like, yo, what if they knock me out?
Yeah. Like,
what if they make my tooth come out? Or what if I just get beat up? I'm like, I used to be so afraid.
That's fine, because I know straight niggas is like that too. It's like, damn, I don't want to get my ass whipped in front of everybody. Like, damn, what if my girl watching? I get my ass whipped.
Right. Because a lot of people always say, oh, you need to learn to stand up for yourself. I'm like, bitch, it's scary.
No, I'm laughing. Right, I'm fucking laughing because there was a tweet on Twitter, and I remember because I was busting out, fucking bellowing, laughing when I saw it. So is this one nigga? He posted a video of him getting jumped by a whole bunch of niggas because one of them made a pass to his girl, and he said, "I got my ass whooped, but I just had to let her know I ain't going out like no bitch."
and you know what? I will respect it because you got jumped.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yo, my man stood though. My man stood, and if they jump him,
bro, he took it. It was like, it was like 4 dudes. It was like 4 against 1. Like, he took it though, but I think it was just funny how he was like able to post that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of dudes were like, bro, you know
I mean, he got jumped. It was 4-on-1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that made them look like the bitches. It took 4 of y'all to take him down.
But sometimes people don't look at it like that.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
they look at it like you got beat up. I'm like, jumped.
Look, as a person who's fought 2 or 3 people at the same time and won, like, okay.
Yeah, crazy ass.
I mean, it's what it is.
Okay, so are there any other conversations do y'all feel like that we need to have? Because I would say like
Right.
even before black men and black women, I've always said black men in general, whether you're straight, gay, or what, we need to have a conversation amongst each other because there's some shit in the community we need to fix, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to like fix immediately. And
Um.
go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't mean that. I
No,
thought you
I'm
were
done.
slowing down. Okay. There needs to be a conversation with our Latino community, Hispanic community, acting like they're white,
Mm.
because some of
Uh-oh.
them will sit there and be like,
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
"Oh, I'm not sitting next to Negrita."
Ooh.
Uh, bitch,
Ooh.
the shit that I can say out my mouth up to you, you might not even want to go there.
I
They
know
need
black.
to learn their history,
Because last I checked, the whites are talking about you too.
yo.
Not the same.
What makes
It
you
not
so
the
much
same.
better?
And to add to that, they talk about they talk about Latinos sometimes way worse than they talk about us.
Listen, and because in New York it was a video of these older Hispanic ladies who look very they look very fob, and they were talking about something. They don't want to sit next to this black girl on the train. Excuse you, ma'am. She
Oh
doesn't want
yeah.
to sit next to you. Okay, like what makes you so posh that you can't sit next to them? You just came to the fucking country. It looks like it. You just look like you just came from the fucking village with your traditional clothes on. And you want to sit there and talk about, I ain't sitting next to her in Spanish, not knowing that the bitch was also Hispanic too. She's just
Mm-hmm.
brown.
That point that
Seen
goes to
that.
something I was about to say when you were done. It'd be the ones who you motherfuckers look like us. What are
Well,
you
no,
talking about?
the Hispanic ladies were like, like the typical fair skinned Mexican, like that
Hmm.
typical complexion that they usually have. They were like
Yeah.
that. And then the black
Yeah,
girl
but then
was,
there's some I
well,
found they my complexion and darker, you know what I'm saying, and
mm-hmm,
got nerve to try to be shady. Like motherfucker, you look like me.
mm-hmm,
I thought you was a whole nigga until you started speaking Spanish.
They're just
okay.
mad because they were conquered by the conquistadors.
I don't get it. And then what's another good conversation we need to have? Oh, um, this might infuriate some listeners, but there was this conversation about how our community milks the system as far as um Section 8
Oh,
and
Saturday welfare.
Oh, don't start that
that
conversation because
EBT, because
I can give a lesson on that. Don't start that conversation. I've looked into
I
that
told
shit.
people, I said white people abuse it too. I said, so don't get it twisted, but I know black people are kind of quote unquote the face of it. But I do want it to like start to dwindle, because some people will not do anything with their life in order to stay on Section 8 and stay on welfare. And I'm like, when are you going to better yourself to get out?
Mm.
And it's
Two
like,
things.
do you feel like you're stuck, or
You're where I was when I moved to LA, because I remember my neighbors were the same way. They were all about feeding off the government. I'm like, wait, you guys want this? I'm like, this is supposed to be just like a little helping hand so
This
you could,
is
do what
right.
you
This is
gotta do.
temporary. Like
Yeah, temporary, exactly. Like this is where my mindset was, but all my neighbors were like, they were like bragging about feeding off the government and what. I'm like, yo, I understand. Let them do their job in helping you and where you are now so you don't lose any footing. But yo, use that footing to boost yourself up. But they were bragging about wanting to be them. Like, yo, as people that we are, shouldn't you want to strive better and use this and take advantage of it and do better? It
right?
was
Like, I'm like,
weird.
can you like take advantage, as in take that money that you're getting and save it to do something
It's
with
like
it
that
for the
was their goal.
community? But a lot of times, because they become so dependent, they end up falling back, and now they really need to depend on them.
100%.
Sometimes, because
weird.
I was watching Judge Million, and she was talking about this girl that was living in a Section 8 thing, and she had a house, but she was renting out the house to people, and you're not supposed to do that. So it's like you're paying, way under $1,000 for a townhouse, and then you got rooms in there that you're renting out. So now you're really abusing it, and it's like you mess it up for a lot of people. That's why it's a little harder now to get on unemployment, because that 2020 people really mess it up for a lot of people.
People got real creative.
The only thing I'm gonna say about that, like, so I understand, the people that like legitimately abuse it and things like that, and so many of those people not only do they have the audacity to do it, but they do it in a way that's so noticeable. It's like, bro, like you're acting like we don't see you.
Me? Never.
And but I think it's also sad that there's such a stigma to like welfare, because when I think of welfare, I think of people who may be trying, but they need that extra boost just to handle some stuff. But also there's this stigma that those who are on welfare are really just on it just to not work, or they're just lazy and things like that. And those people exist, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that should be I don't think that should be the narrative, because welfare should be available for those who fall down and probably just need to get back up on their feet, because there are a lot of people that are genuinely like that. And the people that do mess it up for them, like, it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? So, I know, like, in 2020, I was one of the people that was affected. I lost my job. You know what I'm saying? And I was on unemployment. But, I was able to use that money to, better my skill set. So it helps me out. But there's also a lot of people out there that, maybe their state doesn't give them much money more than other states, because in their state there's so many people that ride the system instead of bettering themselves. And I think that's just a sad thing to associate that stigma with welfare, because it is a beneficial thing to lift people up. Like, those people do exist.
Yeah, it's a good net to fall on, Then you move on from there. Like, but I've been there, and I'm like, I couldn't wait to get off of that shit. But I'm like, I was grateful for it, but I'm not gonna stay there just relying on it and just live off of it. I couldn't do that, But I was always grateful that it's there, so it was available. Like, that's one of the things. Like that should be, nobody should be below that at all.
Yeah, like, nobody should be below that at all.
But there are people. It's scary how there are people that just look forward to it and work their way to that and not anything higher. It's crazy. When I moved to LA, that's what it was about. It was scary.
But it's
not to mention
it's groomed.
Nah, go ahead.
Sorry, Leon. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead.
It's groomed into children, right? Because I had a friend that her mom, even her Metro card was taken by her mother. Okay, so as soon as she had her first child, her mother was like, "Okay, so I'm gonna write you a letter. Once you get this letter, you're gonna tell them I kicked you out, and you're gonna shelter, and you can come to my house for food and stuff, but don't seem like you really have me, because then they're not going to give you a free apartment." So they're groomed into this. And then she took my friend. I don't know why she gave her mother her child's social, but she took it and then have her mom claiming the benefits, tax money. So it just goes on and on and on. And when I was telling my friend, I said, you know what? The janitors at the police department, they got good. You can be part of the union. They pay good. And this is like in New York during 2005 when she had her first. And her mother was so upset with her that I gave her that fucking information. Because guess what? If you're working, you can't get benefits. So I was messing it up for the mother. And the mother was telling her, "Oh, you think you're too good to get this, food stamps, and your child needs Medicaid. And if you don't get Medicaid, I'm going to call child service." Like, it was a hot fucking mess. You hear me? So half the time, they're groomed from their mother being on this shit for all their life. They're groomed to this, and they have that Stockholm syndrome bullshit. So that's a reason why they stay on this.
Yeah. I think, and right there, I think that's another topic. How are we raising our youth? Because I don't know if we're raising our youth at all. Because there's, I remember, I don't know if I talked about this. I seen a video and these kids, and they was in a gym, and they had duffel bag full of guns, and they was talking about never caught, never lacking, and it's just like, why? First of all, why? And these kids is like teenagers. Why these kids got fully automatic weapons? And who is raising these kids? To just pursuing to this gang life where it's like all is going to end up in dead or in jail. And how are we going to get more positive role models into the hood to where they can see that hell, you don't have to be a gangster. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be an upstanding citizen. You don't have to choose this gang life. There's other ways to get money. Yes, you may have to work for it because yes, drug money is fast money, and or like you know for women, whatever problems the women have, if it's good to work for the money you have, because I feel like this, if we don't put a nip in it, we're raising these generations to be just like reckless. And is because I don't care what type of gangster you are. I don't know any other gangsters like the old school gangsters that um is literally going on Instagram or like Facebook and showing the guns they have. If anything, people usually conceal their guns because you never know, because you don't want them to know your hands and shit. So it's just, I don't know who's raising these youth, but they coming reckless, and I don't like where that's going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're becoming very reckless.
And
And
also,
and they don't care.
respect, because
Yeah, big on the respect. A lot of them have no respect at all. Because I'm all about cussing out an adult when need be, if it's appropriate, if they doing something disrespectful. But some of them are just so fucking nasty for no reason. And when an adult says something to you, you just going off and you just being disrespectful and you telling some, bitch, I'll kill you and all the other stuff. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It's when an adult is jumping in your face, telling something she'll fuck you up or something, then you cuss her ass out. But when you know you're doing something wrong and you know you're in the wrong and you still cussing them out, I said, nah, that's just a child with no respect at all.
Right. Right. Any last words before we move on to a final topic? Okay. Xavier, first off, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And, second, you had a topic you wanted to bring up to the panel, so.
You and my sister have the same birthday, bro.
And
you
Material
did say
Life,
that.
if
I
you listen.
remember you said that before.
Yeah. And Material Life, if you're listening, happy birthday, B. But go ahead, Zay.
Happy birthday, bitch. Hold on, I can't remember what my topic was.
Something about race and like different races because we're mixed with whites or something like that, along the lines of something like that.
Oh yes, hold on, I gotta listen to my message to you. Oh, yes. Okay. Now I remember. Okay. So it's about the whole Eve gene in Black women. And I personally believe that some people have some of that information wrong, because people think just because of that, a Black person can produce anything. But I feel like it's wrong and that they only can produce it once they have that mix in their bloodline and in the gene, then that's when you can reproduce and have those kind of colors in your family. But I don't think Black women can just produce, any race, because we all know that they don't produce like a fully white person. They might be very fair skinned, but the hair is different. Or they might be brown, but the hair color has some red tones to it. And I just wanted to know, do people, look into the Eve gene and like how, like what Black people can actually reproduce, and do you believe in that statement, or do you think it's once you have a dip of that certain white and Latino mix, that's when you're able to reproduce that?
As far as I know, it's the Rh negative gene, and mostly